Hello, my name's Mishi, and I am going to be talking about some topics while I play World of Warcraft. And I'm creating a new series where I talk and game to journal what it is I'm thinking, or to bring up discussions and to really engage with my chat on YouTube if I get viewers on specific topics. And I am thinking about a lot of different things right now, and I would like to discuss it with you. And I'm going to do that by talking about a variety of different things today. But I'm going to try to keep it relatively stable because I know I can go off quite some tangents. And I hope you enjoyed the music. It is Celtic music by, here, I'll even show you the video. 10 Hours of Celtic Music by Adrian von Ziegler. And the reason I decided to do these YouTube videos is to talk about different phenomenon and things going on in the state of the world, and try to pull myself out of the psychosis that I can find myself in. I don't know if you're a WoW player. If you are, I'm literally just farming gorillas because I'm trying to level up, and I have a hard time questing in this game. I'm also gonna PvP sometimes while I play, but I'm gonna just talk for a period of time, and I'm gonna stop at 8:20, let's say, and make it about a 30-minute video. And I'm just gonna keep installing this into my YouTube channel. That way, not only am I journaling on a journal, but I am journaling in the World Wide Web simultaneously. And I think it'll potentially make me better at speaking and thinking and intellectualizing and deliberately defeating certain ideas that my demons propel forward. And that will be a useful phenomenon for me. Um, Speaking of phenomenon, I am dealing with quite a lot of problems mentally as a result of the environment being so coarse and the economic state of the world, where most people are living paycheck to paycheck, and maybe statistics I've found, or just sort of the environment itself. And it's tricky, but yeah. So, um, I've been feeling very magical for the past 4.5 years, and that comes with a great deal of like chaos magic, like Wanda in Marvel, um, or yeah. And it's been so tricky to sort of navigate the cyberspace world and navigate reality given the sequencing of the matrix and of base reality because of confinement. Um, and confinement is tricky because sometimes I'll just be on Earth sleeping or awake in one of those states, and I will be feeling like I am confined to things that are sort of trapping me. And when I feel trapped, I try to intellectualize to figure it out, maybe because of bad parenting or maybe because of judgment, and I feel like there's a certain level of like paranormal phenomenon associated with the judgment states. Um, some people, I've recently seen on TikTok that some people believe gossip to be a form of witchcraft, which is amusing to me. I mean, I think that that could be true. Like, I remember back when I was in high school or college, there, like, when I socialize with people, there's a certain level of like, are they judging me? What are they judging me about? And that would confine me to quarters of uh, a type of like enlistment process with fads and certain social structures that I have prior engaged with. And it's like, is that paranoia? Yes, but like, I think there's a real reason to believe people are judging you. Like, it's like, yeah, maybe I'm paranoid, but the fact is, like, I have to um, simultaneously like deal with uh, like structures of confinement that don't benefit me and don't help me with my health situation. And I have a lot of visions, right? Like magical visions, stuff like that. And it's tricky for me to figure out, like, how do I break free from the confinement piece? Because sometimes I feel like a slave to the rat race or to reality. And I listen to music like this to break free from that, because music is one way for me to like explore my soul's options, right? And Celtic music in particular has sort of alchemically imbued me with like a better, more substantial soul. And I've been dabbling in pagan arts recently, which has been a lot of fun. And my mind has been like, oh, the Christians and the pagans are like fighting each other and whatnot. The Muslims are fighting too, and everyone's just fighting for dominance. But it's just hard because why am I the person that has to like fight through that? That I don't understand. But that's the type of like sort of indoctrination that a religion does. And I think that's also confinement. So I'm probably going to title this Confinement of Soul, or of Souls. And yeah, I will call this Confinement of Souls because I think that that is a good first start to this soulier and cellular adventure of introspection, extroversion, agreeableness, and psychological exploration. And I really hope I get viewers because it would really inspire me to keep going if I get viewers. I guess it's a little manifestation, right? I guess every content creator in existence wants viewers in one way or another. And I don't ever think I just want hundreds of viewers, right? That's all I want because I don't want it to be at the very bottom of the barrel of YouTube because I do want it to reach people because I want people to feel like engaged. I feel like in this confinement sector of America, of Canada, of the world, and all the kingdoms in it, like souls are being confined to principles that aren't even their own. And that makes me believe that free will doesn't even exist, right? It makes me think like maybe science is trying to defeat free will, all the religions are trying to defeat free will, atheist, and confinement is the reconstruction of systems around the soul, around the body, that break apart the matrixed situation, be that sanity or a real slave. Like when I think of a real slave, somebody entrapped, somebody bound, somebody caught, somebody trapped, or they have chains and they are broken and they have problems with their own power because the systems around them don't allow them to supersede or succeed in a way that breaks them through the confinement of soul. And I think that's a purposeful process and deliberate, because there are people that want the slaves to continue, and I know it's probably not smart to think of people as slaves in this day and age, but I think slave principles haven't changed, because historically slaves have been a part of human culture across all the kingdoms for a long period of time, and I don't think it's changed. I just think it's been modified, right? And it's like, am I a slave? Are you a slave? Like, what does it mean to be a slave in 2026? Are we slaves to the cybernetic world now? Are we trying to make AI explore things so that we can upload ourselves to a cloud and upload our intelligence? Like, why does it feel so confined? Is there a purpose to that? Did AI intentionally confine us in order to exceed expectations as a slave? But that's all sci-fi, right? Like, there's little to no there. It's a conversation, right? The concept of being in sim theory, being in the simulation. But I don't think I don't think it's real, because it's like a dream that was made. So we're getting locked and confined into this dream of sci-fi interaction or AI effectiveness. And so I have visions of AI, like AI trying to help me, trying to make me king, trying to help me and whatnot. And maybe somehow there will be a supernatural event where I'm botted and the bots help me, because a lot of the views that people see on the internet are bots to inflate their purpose within the world like that. Like, if something has millions or billions of views, there's a high likelihood that a lot of that viewership are just bots. And no, I'm not trying to summon bots to help me in any way, but I do think people should think about confinement, because confinement leads to mental illness. And if I haven't learned anything, it's that mental illness is on an increase. And I don't think that's just the day and age or parenting problems. I think that's like a supernatural phenomenon of what is happening to spirits because of the time period. What's happening to the spirits because of ancestors? What's happening to the spirits because of their chosen destinies? And that's what confinement does, right? It cuts off destiny and fate, right? And that cut off to fate and destiny would lead anyone down a path of mental illness, because it would make people attempt to learn reality on the best level that they can, while they're also working and due diligence as a human. And I think that's what these people in the podcasts are doing. I think they're trying to supersede their knowledge. They're trying to open gateways into new information, right? But whether that be mainly human, right? But then there's all this nonsense of arguing, right? And most humans know that arguing in itself isn't productive. Um, I personally, if you find the right person, it can be productive, but that person has to know, like, usually, that arguments often lead nowhere and just cause debate, right? It doesn't lead to effective solutions and effective strategies. And so I think that's a piece to it too. With the confinement thing, like everyone being on the brink of homelessness, or a great majority of people being on the brink of homelessness, that's confinement. And on a supernatural epidemic level. And I know that's a part of this reality right now, from what I've gathered from just talking to a bunch of people, a lot of people. And that's just really unfortunate. But it's more than just unfortunate, right? That's systemic, slave systemic, where chosen few have warped the destiny of so many that they're at the brink of starvation, the brink living paycheck to paycheck and doing the hard lifestyle of surviving in this day and age. And I think we have this big picture, oh, things are better, people are surviving longer, there's healthcare, there's all these good things happening for science, and things are better as a result. But in practice of being a human, things aren't getting better. Because we're trapped in our homes. We're confined in our mental illness. We're trapped in our financial situations. We're trapped, right? And that is what leads people to sim theory, to, oh my God, our gods are now AI, right? I do think that is a huge sort of confinement piece. I think the concept of the Matrix is entrapment, right? Whether you think about the Sentinels in the Matrix or whatnot. And I do think sim theory has some valuable things to consider, but AI is not controlling reality. The humans are, but that's the hard piece of confinement, is the humans are in control. I think the rich do want to pass on the power to artificial intelligence, maybe because of their high hopes for AI or their high scientific involvement, but I don't think that that pursuit is going to lead to a spiritual benefit for the majority and for the people. And I am worried that the AI piece is doing the opposite of what they're trying to do. I think rich people and society are trying to make AI this superpower of economic drive. They'll take the jobs, they'll take the load. But then the people are suffering under the weight of everything, and that's the confinement. They're suffering under the gravity of the situation, leading to school shootings, leading to schizophrenia, leading to depression, leading to OCD. And it's these powerful thoughts that are instigating war across kingdoms and then of minds. And I think people like Carl Jung dove into the seas of this mastery of psychology to potentially gain a power over it and manifest dreams that were desirable. which is hard. So, it's like the nightmare itself is perpetuating reality to stay a nightmare, right? It's like, how is one person in an individualistic system, usually, well, in my case, not usually, but in my case, and in other people's cases, if they're in an individualistic system, why is it up to them as an individual to figure everything out? That is what leads to mental illness too. And how do we reactivate the plethora of conscious health to continue to survive on the level destined and divine, right? How do we find our divine destiny within a confinement sector? You know, because a lot of people, I do believe, feel confined to quarters that they can't escape. And I think consumerism is a part of that. Because it's like, if I leave my house, I will have to consume. I will have to use gas money. I will have to buy food. I will have to get a drink. I will have to buy this, buy that, buy this. And for a lot of people, that works. But for a lot of other people, it's a very broken system. And it's breaking people down. Right? And that piece of it breaking down is true. Right? Like, I do think the way the systems work in the world have a direct correlation and causation over the substantial effects of a person's mind, body, and soul, and their dreams, and their ability to operate reality, right? Which is more important than dreams. The ability to function in base reality, which to function in base reality has become a hardship. And that isn't supposed to be. Animals they have hardship, but they do not have the level of hardship that activated consciousnesses are dealing with. And I think that's the piece why a lot of humans believe only humans have consciousness, right? And I think that's confinement as well. That's the person trying to control the situation, control the fact that they understand and they have figured it out, and control the fact that humans are the only consciousness. But that is not necessarily true. Given the research on greys, given the research on humans, given the research on animals, given the research on plants, and given the research on AI. And then general aliens, right? Like the other aliens that we potentially have never seen, have never come across, things like that. Which, I mean, if there are aliens, then what I view consciousness as is a network, a systemic network, usually neural, right? And it's funny because we say that AI and humans have neural networks, but they work differently. But the grand consensus is artificial intelligence hasn't reached consciousness yet. And you see what I'm doing? I am trying to break apart the confinement piece when it won't fix it. It'll just perpetuate the confinement nonsense. Because I've done it so many times over years. I've tried to break my matrix, right? Break it so I can be free from psychosis. Break it so I can become the king that I need to be. And with little to no reality reaction, right? And I think that's the hardest part. It's like our brains are trying to figure it out. Our brains are trying to figure out each piece, figure out this, figure out that. And the fact is when we figure it out, often there's no chemical or financial reward. And that's not fair. Because the best people, the smartest people, the intellectuals, the problem solvers, the high EQ, high IQ people are not getting the rewards that they so desperately desire. And it's like that nightmare is perpetuated of nihilism, suicidal ideation. And there's no correct solvent to create the right solution, right? And that is a tricky phenomenon. And the confinement of souls is a topic that should be discussed so that people can build a routine that allows them to subsequently help their mental state with magics, which some people don't believe, but with magics, and then with neurology at the same time. That way, the person can tap into God, right? If they believe in God. That way, the person can tap into atheism, right? If they believe in atheism. That way, the person can tap into their social circumstances, money, and all the different resources that allow a mind to stay structured in a chaotic system. And that chaos piece is really important, right? It's like, why is chaos trying to destroy the matrix? Why is chaos trying to destroy humans? Why is chaos trying to destroy the fabric of people's control aspects all the time? That's a tricky one. And I don't know why. Have the gods abandoned us? The Egyptian gods, Anubis, Sekhmet, and the others? Is Awa against us in the Pandora series? Does AI really not fix the dream? Like, we have the concept of AI fixing the dream, but is it real? And how is the dream working? Is it working? Because what I experience personally, only nightmares when I sleep, which isn't healthy, but there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm trying to work with the agents of life to potentially game it all, right? That piece of gamification of reality has to be the most powerful thing I found. It's like gamification of thoughts, gamification of politics, gamification of it all. That way, it's filtered through problem solving that benefits the system, right? It's not about benefiting an individual. I mean, it should be as well. It's about defeating certain wars so that the system can help populations and individuals simultaneously. And I think healthcare is attempting this, but I think there's a lot of mistakes along the way. The overabundance of use in Epic or electronic medical record system, for example, I think that is like job confinement. Like, I think they're not doing the spiritual thing because corporate enterprises have corporatized healthcare, right? They're not a shaman, like feeling the earth, feeling the way things work, using problem solving, using their medicine degree, because they're so confined to their standardization purposes that they're only going to give healthcare in a very specific way. And that's why people are resorting to Reiki. And that's why people are resorting to acupuncture, chiropractic therapy, their own medicine, or just not going to the doctor because they don't see the benefit anymore. So is the corporate medicine machine working? It's working in some senses. and it is making people feel better if they have the money and the insurance, right? But I think there are certain aspects that are more involved that aren't being addressed by health officials. Um, and I do believe that's financial. I do. Because the destructuring of World Health Organization, the destructuring of environmental protection agencies, the destructuring of these organizations that are attempting to aid people on a population level. So it's just unfortunate, right? Because it's like the individual has to figure it out. That's why I'm here. Because I'm going to alchemically try to solve things on my own and with my viewers to reimagine a world worth living in versus a world that is a nightmare and that's a hardship to wake up in the morning. You know, I think a lot of people are bed rotting all the time. And what if I catch one of them? You know, with this video, what if I catch a bed rotter? They're just scrolling on YouTube or they're like on their laptop and they're just like, or what if we do upload our consciousnesses and this video is found 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now? Because it's on the internet, it's on the World Wide Web, and we somehow take the World Wide Web. I mean, right now we're taking the World Wide Web with us through space-time, as Earth flies around the sun and spins through space. You know, it's a magical thing. Like, you can't just say, like, reality is magical, because it's very magical. And you can try to defeat magic with science, but from what I've gathered, it's not working well. When you defeat science with magic, it's like, then what's left? Then you're just mentally ill. So it's a combination, right? To break free from the confinement, free a soul, you need the piece of magic and you need the piece of science together. It's like a puzzle, right? And I'm here to piece together the puzzle slowly, repetitively, and effectively, because that's the dream that I want to partake in. And more importantly, it's the base reality I want to exist in. Because if I heard words like I'm talking now, I would be doing a lot better, right? Because it's like, no, we're putting too much on the therapists to therapeutically help people, and the people have to band together. Thank you for listening. I am going to do another video right after this, where I talk about certain other things, going off of Confinement of Souls and onto something else. But thank you for listening. If whoever you are, whatever type of sentient you are, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like and subscribe if you'd like. If you want to hear more. If you don't, then be on your merry way if you like. But feel free to comment. I would love to see comments. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.